Let's get it. Let's get started. So, real quick, a couple add-ons from the previous video. I have the same configuration as before. The only thing I have is added already the LSP file, but that's not gonna do anything. But yeah, let's talk about it. So, first one is the colors. If I go here to the LSP, Lua. What was it? Plugins UI, I believe. And then we go to the bottom. You can see that the colors is working. I forgot to mention that for some reason. But yeah, that's because of this this plugin right here. Okay, then second one, I found out about the, let's take a look, standard path. If we scroll down, we have you have the path here, yeah. So this is the state, but I believe we're looking for the data, but it's the same path. You have it here. So this is something that missed on the previous one. Apologies for that. We're learning as we go. Yeah. So yeah, this is where it gets from. I just don't know how to, because if you call Lua, technically, if you do, for example, print, this should print, but it's not. If you can tell me why, please let me know. I don't understand, because if you do, no, don't do that. If we do Control C, deny, Control C. Oh, Control C is copying. There you go. If we do this, come here, then we delete this. This is not doing anything. So in theory, this should print, hey, this is the path, but it's not printing the path. So yeah, there's a small correction from the other one. And now we can get started with LSP. Okay, what the hell is an LSP? So if I come here, we're gonna take a look at this later. So what is an LSP? File type. There you go. This is the official page for Microsoft, and it says that the LSP defines a protocol used between the editor or IDE and the language server that provides features like autocomplete, got definition, find all references, and yada yada yada. So basically, in layman's terms, what does that mean? You can see this one, my favorite, hover. Whenever you hover, it shows you some documentation. So by default, if I come here to the neovim, if I type, I don't know, vim dot, you can see that there's nothing being presented to the user. Even though we know that this object exists, if we go to the one that we configured before, so Lua core, and then which one? I don't know, options, for example. You can see that this object exists, everything is working. We do have this definition for, the blah, 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 set line number, update time. We know that all of this is working. It's just, our editor is not aware of, first of all, the language we are writing into. You can see we have some stuff, but some of this is being presented by AI. I believe this icon, I didn't differentiate, so apologies for that. But this is coming from the templating or autocomplete, and this is coming from the buffer, yeah? So everything that you have it here. High level, that's how it works. So the idea is, okay, how can we tell how can we tell the client, the neovim, that, hey, there's more functionality than just presenting, this. And that goes for any language. So this is where LSPs come into place. There's a bunch of buzz files about it, how to set it up in neovim, but I'm going to try to demystify all of that. So let's get going. So when you have LSP, pretty much you have 2-3 steps. First is the installation, then you have the configuration, and then there's loading or enabling of the LSP. There are multiple ways to do that. That's why there's so much confusion in the community. But let's get started. So before, back in the times of the dinosaurs, we used to use something like LSP, nvim-lsp. But as you can see, they're saying that, oh, there's a legacy framework that is deprecated, that we're going to throw a warning. LSP config itself is not deprecated. It provides, server specific configs. And then they're talking about, oh, the configs live in an LSP folder, then they load automatically via the LSP, vim-lspconfig, that automatically finds them, merge them, and then loads in. the configs defined by you or the plugin. And then you have this folder will be removed. Okay, a bunch of yapping, but let's get started. Before we used to configure via nvim-lspconfig directly, yeah. But then it came out the one I mentioned before. There was Mason LSP config. We also had a way to do that, but we're not gonna use this one. This was also a way to enable LSPs. Then we had null-ls, I believe. Null-ls. If we come here, null-ls, yeah, by this guy Jose. This was the old way to do it, but he archived this repo, and then this is where non-ls came from, and it tries to be a revamp from that. But we are also not going to set up this way. The trick here that we're going to use is pretty much here. In favor of lsp.config from nvim, from neovim version 11, 0.11, right? And we're gonna call to this require lsp, sorry, no. We're gonna use this one, vim-lspconfig. Let's get going. Let's get to the editor so we know what the hell is happening. So before anything, let's handle the installation. Yeah. So the installation will be handled by Mason, right? Let me just do the following. Okay. The installation will be done by Mason. I removed the folder. That's why nothing is happening here. You know, this is the second take I'm doing for this video because the other one was, you know, missing a couple information, but yeah, let's do it again. So that's why I removed it. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna install the LSPs via Mason, but as you can see, when I open Mason, there's nothing there. Instead of, you know, manually installing everything from scratch, we can, for example, you know, come here and then you have this one. Let me just do this. Then we go to the top. You can see I install manually, or I can just do, I believe, Mason install Lua ls. Does that work? No, it doesn't. Okay, that's fine. What about this? Lua language server. And then this install, but it's the same one that we did. So there are two ways to install. So we can either three ways to install. First, you can type Mason install and then manually do it, right? But you need to know some type of mapping. You saw that I typed Lua ls, but it failed. But then I typed Lua language servers, then it installed. So there is a there is a thing about the mapping because sometimes it's called one thing, then the other is called another thing. Let me just show you. If I go, for example, to the Mason registry nvim, then where is the website? I believe here. Then if I type Lua ls, same thing. Lua ls you cannot find, but if I type Lua language server, yeah, then you can find, and this is the guy. All right, so yeah, there's something about the mapping. Sometimes because even though it's called Lua language server, the name that is actually going to call is Lua ls, and this is what neovim recognizes. How do I know that? That's because if we come here, we go to the configs folder under the same repo. I keep scrolling down, and then you have it, Lua ls. So what you can see is referring to the same server, Lua language server. Yeah. So there's some mapping that is into play here. Do you need to know this? No, you don't. But you know, there are tools that are already provided for you, so you don't have to memorize what it is, what's that. It's just things that it can be a little bit different. Yeah. But for example, I'm not sure if I showed this before. Style Lua, right? It's trailing characters. Oh yeah. Sorry. Install. There you go. Style Lua is unique. Yeah, you don't have to do this mapping. So sometimes you may need this mapping. I will show you where to get this mapping. Do not worry. And yeah, let's get started. Yeah, let's get going. You have this one, right? You can install Mason. Mason you can install from the terminal like you saw. You can open Mason yourself. You can go find and then, you know, install. You have the tooltip at the, you know, G G question mark, and then it's going to tell you what's going to happen. You can start that way, but we are going to try to automate that. And we're going to leverage this folder that was mentioned here. Here's the thing. For whatever reason, the community, I don't know, either they don't pay attention to this or they didn't catch up or whatever. But anyways, you can see that the configs live in the LSP directory. So if you put the configs, my idea, if I put the configs there, neovim will know where to get the configs from, right? And it automatically find, merge them, blah, 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 blah. So that means, what if we did something like this? We do lua config LSP. So here I created a bunch of things, but at the moment, let's comment the second bit, which we're dynamically setting up or configuring the LSPs. But for now, let's just take a look here. So since neovim takes the LSP folder and already configures it for us, so I was thinking, okay, what if we do the following? We take this exact same name, right? The exact same name that we find it here, right? These are the names that neovim understands, right? So now we just have to take these names, convert into something that Mason will understand, and it will install that package for us, right? Once Mason installed that package for us, we know, okay, that package exists and we can use it. Then neovim will automatically load all the files installed that match on the name of this LSP folder. Do not worry, we're gonna go slowly and we're gonna try to understand what the hell is happening here. So basically, we are looping over this folder, right? We're looping over this folder. This is another one of those folders. You can just take a look on what we did with the help. But basically, in the configuration folder, look for the LSP folder and trim the Lua extension. So if I go here, let me show it to you. As you can see, we do not have this yet, right? We do not have this yet. But it's like, okay, if I create this folder LSP and I touch, for example, I don't know, hello LSP hello.lua. So that means this hello.lua file, right, will exist under this folder, right, because it's here. And then we're going to trim it. That means, okay, take the name hello and you try to return a map of all of these names that we have on the LSP folder, and then we return to have it as a server. Of course, this name is false or isn't gonna be found, so this potentially will fail, so we're just going to remove it. Instead, yeah, just do that. Oh yeah, we have that, okay, no problem. That's fine. Let's do the following. So just rmrf, that's fine, our local folder, and let's move all of that from here. Yeah, so, and what do we have here? Here we have the LSP and we have all these names. If I take any of these names, for example, I don't know, pi LSP, I keep pressing the wrong button, but okay. And then you can see we found it. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So it's like, okay, get the name of the LSP that neovim understands. Let's have that file match or set up the configuration for that LSP. But then we loop over again this name of the files that we have on the LSP folder, and we're gonna provide to Mason to install. It's just, again, we have to be aware of the mapping. So that's what's going to happen. So basically this you know, this globbing, yeah, this table is going to return all these names. So it's going to return this name and this name and this name and this name. And that's pretty much what it's doing. If we take another one, for example, here, you can see that this is Docker LS, and this is the one that neovim will understand. And then once we open any of these files, for example, I don't know, Docker LS, and then you can see we have a configuration. But let's get to the configuration a little bit later. For now, let's just handle the installation. So then we have a scheduler here. So on the next iteration of the loop is going to do it. And then we're creating the same thing that we've seen before many times now. we create an auto command with auto command group, right? Just so we can have this clearance. This time I'm calling Mason install. There's some pattern. So basically, whenever the editor is done loading, these two events are done by are being provided by lazyvim. That's why we're using it. So basically, okay, the editor finished loading. Then we have some callback function. That's the function that we're going to have. So basically here. So here we're getting the mappings from LSP Mason. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but this function only exists in the Mason LSP config, which is fine. Here we're getting the registry. This object exists is being provided by Mason by the Mason plugin itself. Here we are creating the extension. You can see these are the the things I already installed, I believe, in the previous video. Lua installed manually, but now we're making an automated way. So basically, okay, if it's part of this list, Mason please install. That's what we're trying to do. And we do this during the LSP. That's because there's some integration, we need this for sure for the LSP, but here you can kind of put it whatever you want. I just thought, okay, since LSP is the last step, just do this whenever the LSP is running. Yeah. So basically, we're going to add here all of the things that we want, linter formatters, and most importantly, the language servers. Yeah. If the folder is not created, doesn't exist, the name is, I don't know, is empty, whatever, something went wrong, okay, we're gonna get an empty table, but if not, we're just gonna get all the list of all these names. Once we get that, we're just looking over this object right here that we created that has all of the things that Mason has to install, and then we are doing, and this is the key part here, we are getting the LSP mapping. Yeah, so this is an object that we created here, you can see, and then we just actually, why do we need this? Okay, whatever then. Yeah, so here we're trying to get the name of the package because again it could be different. Mason understands as official name, which is Lua language server, while neovim understands as Lua LS. Yeah, so we're gonna get the name Lua LS and it's gonna get changed into language Lua language server. So it's gonna map to that name. The reason why we're doing this is just so Mason knows what to install. Because if I do, like I tried to do before, Mason install, I don't know, hello, you can see this is not valid. So yeah, avoid all these errors. That's why we're doing this. And then we are doing what? We first check, hey, even though we got the mapping, is this package exist in the registry? Because sometimes, things may change or whatever the hell. So yeah, in case that's not valid or you got an invalid name, simply just return, don't even continue to execute. I'll debug and troubleshoot what the hell is happening. Then we have this one. Okay, if it's not installed or if it's not installing, I don't know why we need to, but this is like, okay, if it's not installed, that's fair. It's not installed, we want to install. But if it's not installing, so it's like, I've seen instances where if you open 2, 3, 4 instances of neovim, then it would, during installation of one, it will try to install again, and then you're gonna get an error. So that's why I did this here. I wish, there was one function that you can just call, but hey, it is what it is. So in case it's not present, this is kind of how you can understand this. Okay, attempt to install this package. Once you install this package, that means it's available, and now we can use it, enable, and do all this stuff. So here, let me show you another thing I didn't show you before. Even though we are commenting, let's do the following. I will simply delete this, right? Once I delete this, let's do a restart of Lua config LSP. Then we're just gonna go back to this file. Let me open Mason real quick. Oh no, okay. So yeah, you need a full restart. That's because this event did not trigger, yeah, or it was triggered before and match. Mason didn't catch it or whatever. So let's just rerun this. Open Mason real quick, and it's not working. You know why? Okay, wait a second. There you go. We forgot to bring this guy here. You're just gonna allow. That's fine. Find, and then here LSP. There you go. Yeah. And if I go here, Lua core, not core, sorry, config and then LSP, yeah, then this file is gonna be loaded, yeah. So let's try to restart again. and open Mason. There you have it. Ah, okay. So that one fell, which is good. Yeah, at the moment there's some, security issues with npm, so I'm staying away from that. So yeah, this one is expected, whatever. And maybe that's why prettier. That's why prettier, yeah, that's why prettier also fell, yeah, because npm is not found. Anyways, but if we look here, how do we do this? If we look here, let me close this. You can see pretty much this is the list that we have. We have Dino, open again, Mason. We have here Dino, AutoPep, style Lua, but this kind of we install manually. Lua LS, Python, Tofu, Go please, blah 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 blah. So let me close this, and there you have it. AutoPep, Dino, Prettier, but Prettier failed because I don't have npm at the moment. Shell formatting and then style Lua. And then he added the LSPs. So if I open this again, let's just do this. Why is not working? Hey, for real? Hold on. LSP. Buffer, enter, auto command, local browser. I don't know that one. Hang on. If I open after. So you're not able to open. That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna debug that one later. I don't know why, because it's supposed to open. But maybe there's some changes in the newest one. But anyways. So basically, if I go here, this is what I wanted to show. If I do the same thing, you can see if I come here, then you have this Docker, Go please, LS, Python, Tofu, and this one. So if I open Mason again, you can see you have Tofu, Python, Go please, Lua LS, and then VTS LS didn't install because of npm. I don't have it at the moment, which is fine, it's expected. Okay, that means we installed the language servers. So now let's talk about configuration of the language server. So if I open here and then I go for any of them, but at the moment, let's take a look at this one. So you have what? You have a return object, right? This is what automatically will be loaded by neovim. So basically, this is a command. This is a file type for this language server. You have some here root markers. Actually, I don't know what are root markers. We're gonna look it up together. Then you have some settings, and then you have telemetry disable, of course, and then you have some stuff here. The configuration will be different depending on what LSP you are using. For example, if I open the Docker that I showed a little bit before, you can see that it's different. All it needs is some type of, this file. If this file exists, I try to go and get it. But if I open, for example, LSP go please, you can see, let's close this one. On this, I did some voodoo magic. So basically just try to get the directory name. I believe this is full path. Then you find these files if it exists, and then just try to go backwards and give me that path, and then that one. So yeah, you can do some logics in there if you really need, but you're probably wondering, okay, but how the hell did you get, for example, for Tofu? How do you know that this is the correct configuration? Well, I took it from here. That's what it is. You coming from 2026, everything pretty much was done for you. You don't have to do much. If I come here to this Docker LS, is that the one I have? Let's see. Docker LS, there you go. Docker LS, I come here, Docker LS. So this is the one, yeah. And then you can see that this is the configuration that they are using, and this is the default configuration. I have a question. So if this is the default configuration, if I have, for example, Lua LS, and then I go to the next one, because this is pretty much the setup. It's telling you, where you can find the instructions, how to do it, we don't need none of this. and then it's telling you how to enable it. I will talk about that later. And then these are the default configurations. Okay. So, okay. So if this is the default configuration, as they are saying, okay. If this default configuration, as they are saying, does that mean if I come here to LSP, if I come here to the LSP, Lua, and then what do? Just what? I just comment this entire thing. Yeah, if I comment this entire thing, and then I have the thing enabled, will that work? Let's see. Okay, so a couple things in place, but it will make sense. Don't worry. So yeah, let's go to our file. This one LSP. So the second part, and this is where we have that undo tree, if you remember. So all I have to do is undo, because it has a tree of the files is kind of keeping track. Of course, there's a limit to it, whatever, but yeah, you can see that it works. Everything that you remove, you can just undo. All the changes, it kind of keeps track. So yeah, we have this one. So this is to set up the LSP for us. So on LSP attached, this is an event caused by the LSP. Yeah. Whenever we enable the LSP, it's gonna enable this mapping for us. This is nothing new here. It's just we're just calling this function here. But if we open, for example, Lua core, I don't know, mappings, you can see it's the exact same function that we've seen before. So it's like mapping. They have a mode in normal mode, because usually you just want the normal mode, but we have a couple different modes. And then you have keys. These are the key presses. This is the function that's gonna call. This is the function that's gonna call, and this is the ops. These are the options. They are having slightly different, just to provide some description in the event buffer. We have whatever this is plus our description ourselves. So it's something that we've seen before, and this is what's going to happen. So whenever I press this, it's gonna execute this one, and then this is the description that we would like to have for it. You have a bunch here, leader D, DS, but the most relevant, the most common ones is this one, capital Q to see the documentation, then JD to go to definition. But please do not confuse with go to go to declaration. Slightly difference on it, but yeah. So the way I see it is like, okay, this is more of a reference. It goes like to the file. I could be wrong. Please correct me. I'm not perfect. So yeah, and this is like, okay, go to the definition case of the file. Yeah, a variable first declare, or where the function is defined. But then it's the same thing, no? It's got for saying C, take you to the header. So yeah, this goes to the file, and the other one is go to the thing. But they very similar. If one fails, just go press the other. And this is the client. The client in this case is not neovim, more so the buffer. How do I know that? Because of this. The buffer is on the event buffer. You can see here, because you're gonna have, for example, multiple buffers open, and you want all the buffers to have connection to the server. Yeah, so that's what's happening. And then if the client is it's pretty much saying, hey, I have this ID, and then I'm trying to support this highlight, and then this is what's happening, and this is the function that you're trying to call from the server. So basically, there needs to be an understanding of the capabilities, but this version is a little bit more simplified, where, okay, the server needs to provide the capabilities, and the client needs to have those capabilities, and then they're gonna be able to match and execute on all these functions. So this is what's happening here. And then when the cursor is on hold, it's going to highlight, and then if the cursor is moved, it's gonna clear the references. My favorite is this one that I made myself. So it's on cursor hold. Try to open the diagnostics. I will show you what is that, don't worry. And then you have on detach is going to try to clear all references. So this is pretty much saying what happens. And here we have the configuration. So diagnose config. This is how we're going to create some type of floating buffer that will sort by severity. Oh no, it's going to, all the diagnostics will be sorted by severity, and then it's going to open a floating buffer that will have our our errors. Yeah, that's because, again, just trust me on this one, it's going to make sense later. And then finally we are enabling all the servers. But here's the thing, we are saying enable the server. If you remember, if we go all the way back here, server is simply all the files that we have under the LSP folder that neovim already going to take the configuration from. This is why we're not specifying here none of the server, because it's automatically done by neovim. This is since version 11. If you have version prior to this, it won't work. All right, a bunch of yapping, but let's see. So if we're enabling all the servers that we have there, right? We can neovim enable all the servers that you have under this mapping. Then that means what? That means if we restart, we're gonna get some errors. Hell yeah. So there you go. Vim schedule callback, line 343, blah 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 blah, error, function enable. Okay, so there you go. So that's exactly what I was expecting. So if I come, what's the error about? The error is pretty much saying, hey, this file here, yeah, if I open as VSP, this file open is this file is pretty much, you know, returning an empty whatever. But what if we remove this file? I am curious. I don't think it's going to be loaded. I just keep this because this is just a buffer, yeah? This doesn't mean anything. Let's do the following. Just copy this. Yeah, we now have the mappings. So let's just reload once again. You can see we don't have any error. But if you remember, in our Lua line, we were supposed to have the client and the LSPs and everything. So how do I know that the client, the server the LSP Lua LS is not loaded? I know because you can do check health, and then there is some vim LSP that was added, I believe on version 12, I'm not sure. And then you can see this said, oh, no active clients. That tells you everything that you need to know. And then if there's some errors, it's gonna tell you. I'm not gonna lie, I usually don't pay attention to this. For example, here it's saying, oh, no file type, whatever, I don't care. It is what it is. So yeah, that's kind of how it works, but now let's enable for real. So let's just do it again. I see, that's the thing, I thought it just has that by default, but no, it seems that I have to configure, and these are the defaults. So if you know how to load the defaults, please let me know in the comments. So we go here, lua ls .lua, we paste. Okay, can we? No, cannot. Okay, here's another trick. Just do this, and then boom. That was Control V. Okay, and then we just reload again. Sorry, just restart. But before that, let's do this one. I will talk about this. So now we restart, and just like that, boom, we have the LSP wireless configure. How the hell do I know? Well, first of all, I have the diagnostics that we were mentioning before. You can see there's some wiggly lines here. Let's see what it says. And you can see this is the buffer that I was talking about. If you don't remember, you have a shitty memory like mine. Let me help you out. So you have configs LSP. And then if I go all the way down, yeah, here. So we are enabling. So basically, float is this this floating buffer. So and then we said, oh, but how do you know when he's gonna load this one? So we have it via this one. So whenever we have on cursor hold in normal mode, it's just going to show this for us. So if I just leave it there, after, again, remember we updated the timing, so that's why couple seconds, then it's just loading this for us. What I like about this one is that I can just copy paste, I can select, I can do whatever. I didn't find a way to kind of enter the buffer, but let's see. I have an idea. Wait, if we just seems now. See, if I go down, it doesn't get in there. Usually I have to move my mouse. So if you know, by all means, let me know. But once you are inside, you can just wait with wait, what if we do this? Hold on. Yeah, see, it doesn't work. Yeah, I don't know how to get in there. Let me know if you know. Anyways, so yeah. Yeah, so this is how I know. And then you have here the LULS that is showing. This is what we enable in the configuration for the Lua line plugin. And then if I open anything, it will tell me. Conform, it will tell me, hey, formatters for this buffer, LULS is present. If I do check health again, let it load, it's checking everything, then vim.lsp, then you see that it has LULS, yeah, and they have the ID, and this is what everything that it offers. So this is pretty much what happens. So this is how whenever you type dot, for example, and then you go, you're gonna see that we have what? We have, yeah, we have a lot of stuff. Hold on. But this, I believe, this is coming from the buffer. Remember that thing that we commented? We're gonna get back to it. Just 1 second. Yeah, so if we do something like this, it's gonna tell us what if we, I don't know, if we type a different language type of comment like this, is gonna throw an error, and then because of the highlight, you can see unexpected expression, whatever. And if we don't do anything about it, if we just restart, we're gonna get the exact same error. So yeah, and you can see because we have a wrong configuration, it doesn't load. So we're just gonna roll back, and then we're going to restart once again, and then you have it enabled and everything, everything's kind of working. Let's get back to the definition that we were talking about. So if I go back here, go to the LSP. So I commented a bunch of things here. So let's uncomment that. 15, boom. So this one will allow you to have this Vim object, right? So LULS understands, and then it's gonna give you all the references for this. So just uncomment and start using it. A couple people do differently. They install maybe multiple plugins or whatever, but you can just define this in the LSP. And so each LSP is kind of different. It has its own definition. So that's why you have to kind of pay attention. And then if this is not enough for you, right? For whatever reason, this is not enough for you, you can just go to the official install. Hold on. Not this. So just go here. And then LULS, and then introduction. There you go. Yeah. So just go to the owner or publisher of that LSP, and then simply look at the configuration and how to do it. They'll also tell you how to use it in neovim, what to do, what should you pay attention to, what should you, what should you do. There are multiple ways to do it, blah, 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 blah. So this is where I know all of this definition, where they're coming from, yeah? I don't know what the hell I did there. Let's just restart, and you can see we restarted. We do have the LSPs enabled. How do I know I have the LSPs enabled? Because as soon as I start typing, then it throws me these errors, whatever. But if I go back, they disappear. And I have this beautiful function right here that shows me the stuff. And with that, I believe now we can do the vim dot. There you go. You can see this is F, yeah? And then you have the documentation on what to do with this and what is happening. That's because we define on this runtime. So high level, that's it. And you can keep going. Yeah, it's gonna show you additional stuff. I know that this is different than the, I don't have it properly defined in the autocomplete. But I know this is different than the, let's say, I don't know, buffer, because I don't have anything in the buffer with end and repeat. I don't, right? And it's showing you a mini documentation. You can do, I believe, control. Oh, let's go for this one. Yeah, you can do Control D, Control U, regular as you could, right? Without having to do anything. If I go up, then I see this is from AI. This is definitely from AI. Because of the icon, first of all, and then it looks shitty. So yeah, it is from the AI, but this is coming from the usual autocomplete functions. And then if I keep going up, and this is coming from the official documentation definition, blah, 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 that the LSP provides. So yeah, that high level, that's it. So if I go, for example, here, JD, it says no. Or about capital one? Also no. Some things are supported, some things are not supported. Let's go, for example, here. what the hell is about this? And then you can just do Shift K and then it shows you the configuration. It's really cool because now that I'm typing, for example, I can just do FN and then we try to do the same thing. STD path. So pretty much this is the exact same thing you have for, you know, IDEs like VS Code, and this is what's happening behind the scenes. Yeah. So yeah, we set up, let's show you another one because we set up what? The go please. So this is the definition that I have. I just set up some stuff here. So if I go, for example, to temp, I do, I don't know, main.go, and I do, you know, you need to have go installed, of course. So if I do pacman as go, you see that I already have installed, so not install. Then I already have an error, and then it's telling you, oh, end of file, whatever the hell. You can see I have the icon, I have everything. So this is pretty much how it works. I hope it was clear. Here you can do, this is the autocomplete. Then you can do, for example, I don't know, package main. Then you do, I don't know, import format. This is coming from the AI. Then you just do format, print ln hello there, right? There you have it. And then you just do go run temp main.go. There you go. It's kind of working. Here's gonna say some stuff. This is probably because no package found for open file temp.go. I need go mode, whatever, for the project, but it's a warning we can ignore. But let's see the function to make sure that everything's kind of working. So function, I don't know, hello, and then here you can do a, yeah, let's go with that actually. A string, and then you just, I don't know, return a, all right? My very super duper complex function. Too many return values. What the hell? Ah, wait. I know. You have to put string here. No? There you go. Yeah. So yeah, here, we're just gonna do, I don't know. Let's do regular print. Let's see. Does that work? There you go. I think it's gonna work. Yeah. And then if I run it again, you can see rolled. So there you go. And then let's actually show, because if I do print, right, the AI kind of took that. But if I do here, you can see that I have a hint, right, of what type this function is taking. This can only be provided by the LSP, unless I would have to create something custom, whatever. But you can see it's whatever is telling you what to do, what the function will return. I can do this, or if I type, for example, I don't know, 5, right? Then it's just trying, oh, error, blah, blah, blah. But even if I ignore, no, compiler, shut the fuck up, I get the exact same error. So yeah, that's the functionality that it comes with LSPs. Different LSPs, they provide different functionalities. Some provide formatting, others don't. Some provide diagnosis, others don't. So you have to kind of know what the hell that one provides and how to set it up. So yeah, I'll throw a bunch of links in the description. I hope it was clear, but this is kind of how I understand it. If you want, you can dive deeper into this, but there's nothing more than this. With neovim version, version 0.11, we have been now able to enable everything without having to rely on third-party tools. One more thing I have to mention, for example, this function here that I set it up, if we go to configs and then LSP, this function right here, for example, again, people just be using a bunch of plugins for everything. Even, I'm guilty of that as well. If I go for Mason ensure installed, you're gonna be able to find, what the hell was that? Wait a second. I cannot find it now. Hang on, maybe here. No. Wait, try without the comma. Or add nvim. Maybe that'll be better. Yeah. Summation. God dang it, I cannot find it. But yeah, there was another one. Like this. This is 3 city. 3 city. No, not 3 city. Wait. Mason. Now we have to find this now. Hold on. I think they changed the name, right? Center Avenue Venue. Okay. Integrate with Mason. What the hell was the name of that? Oh, dang, I don't wanna, whatever. Yeah, so basically there was a plugin that people were using because Mason LSPconfig comes with ensure install, but it only installs LSPs, nothing else. People were relying on another plugin, Mason ensure install something. I forgot the name now. So yeah, you kind of don't need that. Yeah, if you know what you're doing or you can think a little bit outside of the box, you're able to kind of figure this out. So if you have Lua plugins init.lua, this is where I put Mason. If I come here, I have, for example, this automatically enable to false, so it doesn't set up any LSP for me because I'm gonna do it myself. And then I just glob on this on these folders. Yeah, I removed the .lua, and I know that this is the configuration that neovim is already expecting. I just add to these servers. After I'm done installing these servers along with all the formatters, linters that I need, I simply come here and enable. It's that easy, people. It is that easy. So yeah, I hope you understand this. I hope you took something from it. Let me this time. I actually forgot to do this, but whatever. Let's just do git add, git commit, and then you say added LSP, and there you go. And there you have it. If something wasn't clear, let me know. I can clarify, maybe make a second video or reply to you in the comments. But yeah, the idea is we're trying to learn together. We're trying to fix everything together. So yeah. I hope you understand. I hope for now you're gonna be able to set it up. Feel free to modify anything here. The license is MIT anyway, so yeah. That's it for me. And remember, we are